We're recording to the cloud.
Oh, and Carrie, do I have sharing for both me and my tablet?
You have multiple participants can share simultaneously enabled.
Great. Thank you. Dank, schönen Dank. Okay, gut. Wir können noch eben. Shalom Aleichem, euch alle. Es ist gut, euch zu sehen. Ich gucke raus. Also ich habe schon gesagt zu euch, als wir wollen anheben mit ein bisschen Schmuss. Ja, als wir wollen schmussen. Zwischen sich nur anzuheben. So we'll begin with some conversation. And then from there on, we'll do some other fun stuff that I've planned for today. Gut, aber ich kenne nicht Lilly. Shalom Aleichem, Lilly.
Shalom Aleichem.
Es ist mir ein Vergnügen, sich zu bekennen mit euch. Kann ich wissen, ein bisschen mehr wegen dir? Ja.
Okay, ich bin wenn ich war ein Kind, mein Bube in Vilna, Sowjetunion, gesprochen Yiddish mit meiner Mutter, meinem Onkel. So, ich verstehe alles, so, almost alles. Aber ich kann nicht reden, ich kenne nur Turit. Ich kann leben, how do you say Turit? I can read.
Legenen.
Legenen. Ich weiß Hebräisch sehr gut. So Yiddish it's better for me. That's English. Better, I'm okay for reading, but I can't talk.
Gut, ich verstehe im Ganzen.
Und das Probleme.
Ja, und schönen Dank von der Zellen wegen sich. Und wie ich habe gesagt, wir wollen praktizieren unser Schmuss. Ja? Das heißt, also das ist unser Ziel. Wir wollen reden auf Jiddisch, wir wollen reden zusammen auf Jiddisch und es wird eine gute Zeit. Nun, also ich habe gesagt, wir wollen anheben mit ein bisschen Schmuss. Ich habe schon gefragt, Jochenen, was macht er? Und ich bin euch neugierig zu wissen, Le Moschel Gittel, was machst du?
Oh. Ich bin ganz gut.
Gut.
Das Woche ich habe gehabt zwei abgeschmusen mit Doctors.
Gut.
Und Baruch Hashem, ich bin gesund.
Gesund und stark.
Gesund und stark bist du. Also ich muss sagen, eine Sache, a very small thing. So, auf Yiddish, der Doktor is in Ordnung, sagt der Doktor auf Yiddish. Yeah. The plural, however, der Mehrzahl von Doktor auf Yiddish is
Doktorin.
Doktorin. Doktorin. The second one I wrote there.
Welcome, Mark.
Doktorin, ja.
Und Mark ist rein. Shalom Aleichem.
Aleichem Shalom. Und das ist alles.
Gut.
Ich bin hier für die Smoozing.
Gut.
Smoozing ist, wie ich lerne.
Gut. Etwas wichtig. Auf Englisch, das heißt auf amerikanischen gemischten Sprache, das heißt Jiddisch und Englisch, was wird ein bisschen gemischt, sagt Schmuz. Aber auf Jiddisch eine wichtige Sache zu wissen, ist, es hat zwei Vokalen auf Jiddisch. Das two vowels auf Jiddisch.
Ja.
Schmuessen. Schmuessen. Schmuess sound. Ja. Oder ob man ist, nein, Litvak ist sagen Schmuessen, aber ob man ist ein polnischer Jid oder ob man kommt von der Kleine, hat man schon gesagt Schmiessen. Aber es ist dieselbe Sache. Schmuessen. Gut. Aber danke, du hast geredet mit die zwei Doktoren und gut Neues. Das ist gut. Und Gittel, was machst du?
Oh, Gittel, ich mache Geld. Ich habe gehabt, nicht die beste Gitterwoche. Ich habe gehört, von 3 Menschen, was ist gestorben in der 2 Wochen Een zeer fijne mensen, een fijne cousine. En is gestorben. Hand, zijn Zoom. Sie woont in Delaware. Wat wissen, how do you say, looked at the Zoom,
geguckt auf dem Zoom.
Geguckt, mijn man en ik geguckt op de Zoom. En Eugert, een andere man, een Schwester-in-laws, Brüder-in-law. Me weiß für many years Eugert gestorben, auch gewesen Eugert sehr krank. Und ein anderer Mann 2 Wochen mitgegangen. So es ist, me wird älter, sieht me wie Menschen, you know, sterben. But bei mir, myself, ist alles gewesen gut. Mit Kindern, mit einer Kinder ist gut.
Gut. Gut zu wissen, du bist in Ordnung und meine beste Sekunde Woche zu den anderen Menschen. Ich hoffe, dass du wirst dich besser fühlen. Ich hoffe so. Und euch bin ich neugierig zu hören von unser General, was er macht. Ja, was machst du?
Was machst du? Oh, okay. Sehr gut. Okay, mein okay. Ich bin aufgestanden. Ich bin aufgestanden 6 Säger.
Also du bist, okay, 1 Sekunde. To wake up auf Yiddish. We have a couple ways of saying this. There's a couple options. So we can say, so there's one verb, aufwecken, literally aufwecken sich, ich hab sich aufgeweckt, ich hab sich aufgeweckt, ich hab sich aufgeweckt, so wie das, ich hab sich aufgeweckt. Aufgeweckt. We can also say, ich hab sich aufgehabt. Ich hab sich aufgehabt. Aufhaben sich means to wake up, to stand up. We can also say, ich bin aufgestanden. Ich bin aufgestanden, which means literally you got out of bed or you stood up. You stood up.
Yes.
Aufgestanden oder wir können Poshet sagen, we can also say aufgestiegen, which means to raise oneself up if you'd like. But in Yiddish, the most common ways of saying to wake oneself up are ich hab sich aufgeweckt or ich hab sich aufgehabt.
Aufgehabt, okay. Yeah. Ich bin aufgehabt 6 Säger. Ich how to say drove?
Foreign.
Does anyone know? Yeah, foreign.
Yeah. Ich vorne mein Sohn zur Schule. Und heben arbeiten.
Gut, also wir können sagen.
Ich arbeite von heim.
Ja.
Today, I'm working from home today.
Von daheim. Ja, man arbeitet von daheim.
Von daheim.
Arbeitet von daheim. Also,
ja.
Als ich bin gefahren zu der Schule. Als ich bin gefahren zu der Schule.
Bin gefahren, ja, gefahren
zu der Schule.
Zur Schule.
Gut. Zu Schule, ja.
I'm
In
taking
Ordnung.
my son to
Ja.
school.
Ja, gut.
Drop
Wir
him.
können, ja, wir können euch sagen, ich bringe meinen Sohn zu der Schule. Ich bringe meinen Sohn zu der Schule. Oder wir können sagen, ich habe gebracht meinen Sohn zu der Schule.
Ich nicht kommen zu office to the hey.
Mhm.
I don't have to come to the office today.
Ja, ja, ich verstehe. Du arbeitest daheim.
Ich kommen zu office Heinz.
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 sagt man. Ja, das heißt Heinz. Here, I'm going to write this out in the chat as well. Heinz heißt today. Heinz. Euch der Büro. Der Büro heißt Office. Das heißt es.
Büro. Okay.
Büro.
Ich nicht kommen zu der Büro Heinz.
Gut, ich verstehe. Ja.
Ich habe lieb arbeiten from home.
Gut, ja, von der Heim. Von der Heim.
From
Gut,
from
ja,
home.
von der Heim. Ja.
I say also in Stutt.
Ich kann
Ja, in Stub, euch. Ja.
lernen Yiddish during this time. Oh,
Ja. Good. As during that time, Beschass der Zeit. Beschass
Ich
der Zeit.
kann lernen Yiddish
Mhm.
Beschass den Zeit.
Good. Yeah, good. Beschass der Zeit. Yeah. So this word I'm using here, beschass. It means during or while. Now, it's pronounced beschass, like this, beschass. But it's spelt in the Hebrew way. So for those of you that know Hebrew,
Yeah, I see.
I think in Hebrew it's beshat.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so, but auf Yiddish sagt man das Gicher beschass.
Can you write it down, please, so I can go?
Of course. Lily, do you have access to the chat by any chance?
Yeah,
the
click
bottom-
and chat and you'll see everything what's written.
At the bottom of your screen is a little box that says chat.
Yeah, I see your pictures. I don't see my photo. Do you see?
Mooscastle.
Yeah, the Schmoozcastle. So
Schmoozcastle.
So Lily, at the bottom of your screen, at the bottom of your Zoom screen, so
Yes.
you'll see all of our faces, and then there's a row under it that says things like mute, camera, participants,
Yeah, screen
etc.
record stuff like that.
I'm on an iPad. I don't see.
Okay, that's all right. I can also write it out. So I've been writing them in the chat, but that's totally fine. I can go ahead and share my screen and write them out like that as well.
Excuse me, Lily, I think you need to turn on your video too.
Oh,
Okay, and how do I do this? You are speaking to someone who doesn't know.
It's okay. It's okay. For now, let's not worry about it, and we can just continue.
But tell me, do you see me? Because I don't see myself. I see all of you.
No,
No, we don't see you, but that's okay. We can figure that
click on
out.
camera and you'll be visible to everybody.
Yeah. We can figure it out for next time, if that's okay.
Okay. Okay.
Good. For now though, I can write out what I'm saying. Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Because yeah, my apologies. I was putting it in the chat, but I want to make sure you're able to see. So Beshas.
discuss.
Ja. So auf Hebräisch wird man gesagt Beshaat, aber auf Yiddish sagt man Beshas. Beshas. And auf Yiddish, Beshas heißt during or while. Literally at the time of, at the hour of. Auf Hebräisch, good. Beshas. Good. So oib mir will sagen, during that time, we can say Beshas der
Side.
Beshas der Zeit. Beshas.
Derzeit. Great.
Shane.
You know, Eyshe, the only thing is, when you're writing it out, you're writing it out in Yiddish handwriting, right?
Yeah,
It makes it harder for
yeah,
me.
it's slightly different.
Can you do both?
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard.
mean-
Probably.
So my hope is to acclimate us to Yiddish handwriting a little bit.
Yeah,
You'll see it.
that's good.
It's not even necessarily a cursive thing. Even in Yiddish books, you'll encounter some handwritten things, and also,
really?
so yeah, like sometimes Yiddish books will print things in different fonts. My hope is to sort of acclimate us to it. But absolutely, so on the one hand, if you ever have a question, I don't understand that letter, I don't know what I'm looking at, what is this word? Always ask. Always ask. I'm never expecting everyone to know everything right away, or else I wouldn't be necessary, right? So always ask. And on the other hand, I want to make sure things are as accessible as possible. So in this case, I'm happy to write things out. I usually do it anyway. So just let me know. Yeah. And I'll try my best to give both as much as possible. And I think the more time we spend with it, the easier it will become, is my thesis. And I think that's usually true about a lot of things. So good. So yeah, so this is our, and I would write with block letters, but I'm so horrible at it. And I also really only write with cursive. So at any rate, yeah. So bishas, and I will try to write in the chat as well. So bishas, during, while. Good. Ich bin euch neugierig. Das heißt neugierig. Was heißt neugierig? Damit ihr wisst?
Curious.
Curious. Good. I'm curious to hear. Ich bin neugierig. So I'll write this here. Neugierig. I'm writing this in the chat as well. Neugierig. My handwriting is unfortunately not the best.
No, it's good. It's good.
Very clear.
Neugierig. Gut. Shane. Also, das heißt, dass ich bin neugierig zu hören von Marken. Und Mark, ich gedenke nicht, hast du gehabt einen jiddischen Namen oder willst du sein Mark?
Mark is fine.
Mark ist Shane. Gut. Sag mir, was ist dir Neues? Ja? Was machst du?
Gar nicht so interessant. Ich bin gut. Let's see. Was ist neu? Dienstag bin ich gegangen zu mein Zaindoktor. Hat gesagt, dass alles es geht.
Gut, sehr schön. Sehr schön, das ist eine gute Sache. Ja, also das heißt, dass du bist gegangen zum Dentist, ja?
Sagen?
Du bist gegangen zum Dentist, ja? Ist das recht? Gut, ja. Schön. Und jetzt kennen wir sen Lily. Shalom Aleichem, Lily.
Oh, Shalom Aleichem. Oh. You see me, I don't see you, but that's good. I see only Eyshe.
Gut,
Okay.
alles in Ordnung. Also, Abi, du kennst mich sehen? Nu, wir sind
sehr gut.
Gut, schön.
Yes.
Nu,
Lily, het is een begrijp, ze zijn er nog
Oh,
eenmaal.
danke schön. It's a mechanic.
A good year.
Gute Jahr, yes. Gute Jontef. A gute Jahr.
ja, schön. Gut. Nu, also ich habe etwas geschrieben nach dem Tafel. I wrote something on the board. Ich habe etwas geschrieben nach dem Tafel. Als auf Jiddisch sagt man besser, mir ist gut. Mir ist gut, anstatt ich bin gut. Lily, du weißt der Unterschied zwischen ich bin gut und mir ist gut.
Ich weiß, yes, ich bin gut. I am good. Mir ist gut. It's good for me.
Ja, gut. Aber euch, ich bin gut, hat der Tam von gesund und euch hat der Tam von morality. Ja, also ich bin ein guter Mensch.
Guter Mensch.
Also ich bin ein guter Mensch.
Ich bin gut.
Ja.
I'm behaving.
Exactly. I'm behaving well. I'm a good person. Or I'm healthy. Kann man sagen, ich bin gut. Es ist besser, wenn euch me fragt, was machst du? How are you? Es ist besser zu sagen, mir ist gut. Mir ist gut.
It's good to me.
Exactly. And ob du bist nicht sicher, was zu sagen, kann man sagen, Poshit, gut, schlecht. Ja, man darf nicht sagen, mir ist, ob du willst nicht.
And how to say comme ci, comme ça. Nicht gut.
Comme ci, comme ça, auf Yiddish heißt,
Is
nicht
wel
kosher.
goed, dat is wel slecht.
Nicht gut und nicht schlecht. Nicht gut und nicht schlecht. No.
Wir haben ein paar Breires. Nu, 1 Sekunde. Die Breire, lass mich das schreiben auf den Chat. Die Breire, das heißt a choice. A choice. A choice.
Hebrew words, Brera.
Ja, es ist ein hebräisch Wort, aber es ist euer Jiddisch Wort. Ja, es ist euer
Ich
Jiddisch Wort.
habe nicht a Brera.
Ja, also Breire is a choice. Und when it comes to how we say comme ci comme ça, or it's so, we have a poor, wir haben a poor Breires. Ja, few choices. Wir können sagen
Nicht schlecht.
nicht kosher, nicht kosher,
Is kosher.
nicht kosher, ja, nicht kosher. Und ich kann das schreiben euch auf dem Chat. Nicht
Kosher.
kosher. Nicht kosher. Nicht kosher. Wir können euch sagen,
So.
azoi zi azoi. Azoi azoi. And then we can also say the other option that was already given to us, I think, by Yochanan and Lilin, was me is nicht gut, nicht schlecht. No.
Mijn vriend Shlomi had gezegd, een beetje goed en een beetje slecht.
Ja, wir kennen das euch sagen. Wir kennen das euch sagen. Sicher hat man a Sach Breires, wenn es kommt zu wie soll man einfach auf der Frage. Ja.
How would you say shouldn't be worse?
Shouldn't, sorry, one more time?
Should not be worse. Soll nicht sein, what do you say? No, soll nicht sein, Ärger.
No. Soll nicht sein Ärger. Soll nicht sein Ärger. Ärger auf Yiddish here, Ärger. I can also write this in the chat. Ärger heißt, das heißt worse.
Right.
Ärger is worse.
Yeah.
Worse.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Worse. Ärger. Soll nicht sein Ärger. Gut. Okay. Gut. Das heißt, wir haben geschmust fast 20 Minuten, das ist schön. Und ich meine, es jetzt, wir sollten tun ein paar Sachen. Nun, mein Plan heint ist zu lernen ein bisschen mit euch. Ich hab euch ein Lied, was wir können singen, ob ihr seid neugierig, aber ich habe euch ein bisschen Literatur für uns. Ist, ihr könnt verschließen, was ihr wollt.
Ja, ich verstehe. Hast du een niggen voor the lead?
So we could read, we'd also have a song. The reading I think is better for us right now, but if we have time, we can also do the song. And as we read, we're going to pay close attention to case, particularly nominative and accusative, that is subject and object, and how that's changing our sentence. Yeah. And I think it'll make the most sense, particularly to those who struggle or who find just these kind of really like scientific grammar rules kind of confining and kind of confusing. I think this will be really helpful for seeing what it looks like in their geschriebener Sprach, in the written language, in their geschriebener Sprach. Okay. Lily, ich meine es zu dem, was du hast zwei, because you have two things logged into the Zoom, it's making it.
I'm closing my phone.
Good.
Okay, minute.
Shame. Good.
It's there. Okay.
Good. Verrochten. Shame. So, real fast, to fix something. Verrichten, kann man sagen? And the past participle is verrochten, verrochten. Or there's a great verb in Yiddish, which is fixen. Fixen. Ich habe es gefixt. Ich habe es gefixt. I fixed it.
It's a new word.
So for richten is making right, basically. This is a richtig. Richtig is a right. So for richten is a the same root.
Oh, exactly. So verrichten has the same root as the word richtig. Yeah. They both are cognates with this English word right, right? Because we have this GH in English that signals that in Old English we used to have a ch sound. So in Old English it used to be richt, richt, which sounds very similar to our Yiddish. But so literally verrichten means to write something, to make it better, to fix it. Verrichten etwas. And then fixen mahot euch. And after is das ein neuer Verb für Lilin, aber es existiert ja. Ich habe geredet mit ein paar polnischen Jiden, wir haben geredet auf Jiddisch und
Amerikanische Jiden.
Was?
Amerikanische, polnische Jiden.
Nein, sie stammen von Polen. Sie stammen von Polen-Gufe. Und sie haben gesagt, wir haben geredet wegen Technologie und sie haben gesagt, wir haben es gefixt, haben sie gesagt. Also das heißt,
als Wörter, ich weiß Russian, other languages I know. So a lot of American words went to, became part of the other languages. But I don't think it's a Yiddish really.
No, es ist ja, also ich muss sagen, es ist ja Jiddisch. Ja, das ist ein Wort, ich habe Lehrer meiner, sie stammt Tage von Polen, sie ist geboren in Polen und sie sagt fixen. Ja, es ist ja, es ist in der Sprache. Ja, als sie kann sein,
I believe you.
ja, es kann sein, als du hast nicht lieb, es zu nutzen und das ist kein Problem nicht. Ja, aber es existiert, es ist voran in der Sprache. Gut. Fixen. And I also completely understand the anxiety around English words in Yiddish. But in this case, it's such a ubiquitous word at this point. But verrichten is.
May I quick thing, just a quick thing, because I remember was talking to some of the older Eden who grew up who was born in the States, and he is actually telling me that the word boychik is something which he heard from his grandparents, which were using it back in Russia. And I would say we would never use the name boychik.
Yeah.
In the old country.
Boychik
in
is voran.
Pasadena, sie sagen Boychik.
Ja.
Ich bin gewinner Boychik.
But boychik is Amerikanische Eden.
But you know what it comes from in Russian? Malchik.
Malchik, yeah, I know. But boy it's like an ingele. You would never use the boy in the Russische Eden would never use it.
Russische Eden.
Eine Sekunde. Meine Teile, ich muss sagen, als in der Geschichte von der jiddischen Sprache, als es nicht so schwarz und weiß. Ja, also ich muss sagen, als wir haben ja gehabt, Eufanim, that means ways, ja, wir haben euch gehabt, Eufanim, wie soll man hat gerät, a viele in Russland, a viele in Polen, a viele in die Vereinigten Staaten, aber die Welt von Jiddisch ist euch gemischt. Ja, eine Sache Kulturen und eine Sache Einflüssen sind gewinn voran in der Welt. Und ich muss sagen, als ich habe ja gelernt, Literatur, was stammt von Mitteleuropa, was hat gehabt Boychik in der. Und nun, was kann man sagen? Stammt das Tage von amerikanischen Einfluss? Weiß ich nicht. Aber es ist voran. Es ist etwas, was ist reingenommen in der Sprache. It was taken into the language. Ja, reingenommen in der Sprache. Und wenn man redet wegen Jiddisch, man redet faktisch wegen einer Sache Jiddisches, einer Sache Jiddischen, eine Sache wegen zu retten die Sprache. Ja, und ich muss sagen, also viele in der Alterheim, ja, viele in der Alterheim hat man gehabt Einflüssen, Influences, Einfluss von anderen Sprachen und euch viele von Englisch. Ja, das heißt es, nu, als wir wollen das sehen in unser Text. Ja, Marshall. Und wir können eine Guck geben nach dem. Ich habe einen Text für uns. Eine Sekunde. Gut, schön. What is unser Text?
Oh, Berele.
Berele. Unser Berele.
This is besser.
Ja, ja,
Größer is besser.
ja.
Ja.
Ich verstehe. Good. So Lily hasn't seen this book yet. Du hast es nicht gesehen.
No, ich habe gesehen,
Ah,
last.
in dem Britzbrief. Schön. Good.
Yes.
Good. Good. So das ist unser Berle. Ist so Chenevdik, so schön. Und ist unser Boychik. Ist das Ingele. Was wird aufwachsen in Russland? Und wir wollen sehen, was geschieht. Ja? Und ich meine es, wir können a Guck geben, that means we can take a look, ja? Wir können a Guck geben auf dem Text zu sehen, nicht nur die geschriebene Sprache, ja, the written language, die geschriebene Sprache, I can write that in the chat, die geschriebene Sprache, aber euch kann man sehen, unsere Grammatik. Yeah, we can see our grammar. Yeah. And our goal with this, we're going to take this book very slowly. It's not important to me where we necessarily make it to. What we're going to do is we're going to pay close attention to the written language, how it works, what we're seeing. Any questions or comments you have, feel free to say them. And I want you all to pay even closer attention to case. Where do you see case? Where are articles changing? And if you've never learned about case before, we're going to see it in action here, and hopefully it'll make it a little clearer what's happening. So we're gonna talk about it all. So to go ahead and begin, we're gonna just start reading. Yochanan hat schon gelernt, so Yochanan,
Yeah.
we're gonna move on from you for now because you already read a little. Yeah. Und ich will,
Yeah, Doc. Berele's mama, Tata is gewesen a Schuster und alle Schusters gehen Borvis.
Yeah.
Und hat gearbeitet sein schwer, aber hat kein Mal nicht verdient. Genug zu geben, seine Kinder Essen zu der Saat.
Gut, schön. Dank. Essen zu der Saat. Gut. Lass mir durchgehen. Durch den Satz. Ja? Bereles, schönen Dank. Das ist gewesen sehr schön gelernt. Bereles Tate ist gewesen ein Schuster. Alle wissen, was ein Schuster ist. Ja? Also man macht Schich. Ja, man macht Schich.
A Schuhmacher.
Yeah. So at Yiddish, die Schich, almost always plural. Die Schich means shoes. Die Schich. The singular is technically der Schuch, but again, it's very rare to say der Schuch. Meistens sagt man die Schich. Yeah, good. So Bereles Tate is given a Schuster. Und hat gearbeitet sehr schwer. Ja, das heißt,
It works very hard. Yeah.
exactly. Aber hat keinmal nicht verdient. Was heißt verdient, Joachim?
Earn.
Ich weiß nicht. Verdient.
Mark weißt. Mark, du weißt.
Earn.
Earned, good. Verdient.
Das Geld.
So, for example,
Thank you.
ob me hat in Arbeit, me verdient Geld. Me verdient Geld. Verdienen, to earn. Exactly. Aber hat, was heißt keinmal nicht? Keinmal nicht.
Nicht Geld. Hat nicht Geld.
He could never
Never.
Nicht keine Geld.
earn enough money.
No,
Exactly.
never.
Exactly. Never. Kein Mol nicht. Yeah. So what's happening here, if you're not familiar already, is that this kein mol is being attached to our regular negative, right? Like ich ess nicht, ich schreibe nicht. If you add kein mol to that nicht, so it becomes a 3-word phrase. Yeah, kein mol nicht. Suddenly you have a sentence that says not I don't earn. You have a sentence that says I never earn. Hat kein mol nicht verdient. Kein mol, no time, right? No moment. Kein mol. Hat kein mol nicht verdient. Genug, was heißt genug?
Enough.
Enough. Zu
That's
geben
no
seine
word.
Kinder Essen zu der Saat. Was heißt geben seine Kinder Essen zu der Saat?
So, and give them enough food so they'll be
Just
satisfied,
give
Exactly.
enough food to eat.
like
Exactly.
completely full from the table.
Exactly.
Full, yeah, zat. Ich bin zat is I'm full. I don't want to eat anymore.
Exactly. So
What is it, Derzat?
okay. So here we go.
What is it, Derzat? I'm sorry.
No, Gene, that's what so don't worry. Yeah, that's what we're going to focus on. Absolutely. So we're going to go through this very slowly. Yeah. So genug zu geben seine Kinder Essen zu der Saat. Okay. So I mentioned, I want us to pay close attention to case. Yeah. Oh, and I accidentally uncovered the rest of the reading. Hold on. Just blocking it out to make it easier on us. Good. So we have this phrase, zu der Saat. It comes from this noun. Auf Yiddish sagt man a Substantiv. Der Substantiv is a noun. So kommt von a Substantiv die Saat. Die Saat, you can also write it in the chat. Die Saat, was heißt this, literally the satisfaction or the fullness. It's a cognate with English word satisfied. Comes from the word satisfied. Zu der Saat. Yeah, die Saat is satisfaction or fullness. Yeah. Zu der Saat. So, Genela, was heißt zu?
So it's 4.
Is two. Good.
2. Yeah.
Two. Yeah, good. Two. So now we have this phrase where we're saying zu plus die Saat. Die Saat. Yeah, zu plus die Saat. What happens is, and this is a rule that will never ever be broken in the history of the Yiddish language, and as far as it continues, is any time you have a preposition, it can be any preposition, zu, af, fun, wegen, bishas, even, any preposition you can think of. The following noun after that preposition gets put into what's called the dative case. The dative case. Now, all the dative case means in Yiddish is that something is coming after a preposition. That's probably the simplest way you can think about it. And it's also a correct way of thinking about it. It's any noun that comes after a preposition. So that means it is the recipient of something, to something, or from something, about something, on something, in something. If it has a preposition and a noun is following it, that noun is going to be in the dative. Now, what happens is we have our D, yeah? And D is in the nominative. All nominative means is it's our subject, yeah? And it's also our feminine article, right? So die Freu, ja, a Sachwörter, was haben die? Ja, die Freu, ich weiß nicht. Die Regierung, the government, die Regierung, die Mame, yeah, all D, because it's feminine. Now, anytime you have this D article following a preposition, like we have right here, what does it turn into? You can see it on the page. There. Good. There. So you'll recall when we were talking about this phrase, during that time, I wrote this sentence. Anyone remember? Wie soll ich sagen during that time?
Beshas der Zeit.
Good. Beshas der Zeit. Shas, and I'll write it again in the chat for those who the Shas der Zeit. Good. Now, the noun, what gender is Zeit? Does anyone know?
Feminine?
It's feminine. Die Zeit.
Decide. So,
Die Zeit. So what is happening here?
oh, the article changed to there.
Exactly. Exactly right. Yes. So it's being turned into the dative. So we're going to notice as we read that anytime there's a preposition, so keep special attention to these prepositions. We're going to have a zu, we're going to have fun, wegen, auf, in, bei, was soll nicht sein. Yeah. And you're going to notice that any article that comes after it is going to change. And that's because it's being put into the dative. So die, anything feminine, becomes der in the dative. Der in the dative. Does that make sense?
So the masculine wouldn't change for that matter. It's gonna be there and there.
So masculine would change. It just changes to something different. It changes to them.
Them.
Them in the dative. It becomes them in the dative. And we'll see that as well as we work more. Exactly. So, but does that make sense? Yeah?
Ja.
Good.
Und ich weiß ein jüdischer Lied, a Briefele der Mamen.
Ja.
Ich verstehe.
Yeah, good.
Verbos is der Mamen.
Yeah, good. Because a brivele. So here's the great thing about Yiddish. Is that Yiddish is actually, these rules, these things that can feel confusing, are actually giving you incredibly helpful hints to the meaning of something without all of the fuss that English makes to make its point clear. So my point is here, a brivele der Mamen means a letter from your mother, a brivele der Mamen, but just by saying der Mamen, we already know that there's a hidden preposition there. It has to be, because without a preposition, we couldn't have the dative. It couldn't exist, right? So no, please ask. I just want to finish this by saying,
Go ahead, you finish.
I just want to say, so this means either a brivele der Mamen, sorry, fun der Mamen, or it can mean a brivele zu der Mamen. But we don't necessarily know, but it's more likely that it's to your mother or from your mother.
I know it as a brivele fun Mamen.
Yeah, it can mean that. It can definitely mean a brivele fun Mamen.
But that makes a difference. Fun Mame from mother.
Yeah.
A brivele der Mamen is a letter to mother.
Exactly. So there is a little bit of nuance here. There is. So when you say a brivele der Mamen, we know it's in the dative, which means the mother is an object in some way. She's a grammatical object. She's a recipient or
she is the recipient of the letter. I am writing it to her.
It can mean either. It can mean either. All the der Mamen is showing us is that there's a hidden preposition in that phrase. Brivele der Mamen most likely means from your mother. A brivele fun der Mamen. A brivele fun der Mamen.
How will you say letter for mother?
For your mother, you would say a brivele vader Mamen. Vader Mamen. Brivele vader Mamen. Or you can say a brivele was ich hab geschrieben für mein Mame. Can man so? Yeah.
So der Mamen is not a letter for mother.
Yeah. So a brivele is the letter part. A brivele is the letter part. Der Mamen is just die Mame in the dative. That's all it is. So it is die Mame after a preposition. So in Yiddish you would say to your mother, you would say zu der Mamen. From your mother, you would say fun der Mamen. About your mother, you would say wegen der Mamen.
Sir, excuse the English. I don't remember the lyrics clearly enough, but there's a context there. The person singing is either, ich schreibe or ich lese, ich lehn. He's either writing or reading, and it's clear in context whether der Mamen is from or to.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't remember the lyrics well enough.
That's okay. But hold on, one moment, meine Teire. So what Yochanan is bringing up is a great point. Is that what Yiddish likes to do when we have moments like this where it's unclear, because Lily's points are correct, and so are Yochanan's. So what we're seeing is at moments where things might be unclear, is it zu der Mamen, is it fun der Mamen, we don't really know. The surrounding context gives us our answer. And that is how Yiddish likes to function. So sometimes you'll see datives and you have to look around the dative to figure out exactly what it means. Sometimes, not all the time. Oftentimes you'll have prepositions. But let's read a little further and see what happens with our Yiddish. Yeah? Okay, good. So I'm going to go ahead and open up our next section. Race a little bit. Good. Okay, let's read to here. Gitel, would you like to read to where I put the red mark?
Sure. The first word I had a little trouble. Berele, sure.
Berele, yeah, Berele.
Berele, my tit, and my second. Berele, I don't know what the second word is.
Good.
Oh.
It's Berele's Tate.
Berele Tata is given a Yid, I don't know that word. Urman, like
We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. For now,
maybe poor.
1 second. So when we're reading, ein Sekunde Gitel, sei mir Michael. When we're reading, first, let's try to just read it, and then we'll do meaning after. Yeah. So I want to also focus on just getting us into the habit of reading a full sentence. Yeah. So Berele's Tate is given a Yid in ordentlicher. Good.
Frimer, alle Jiden is Schmittel.
Das ist in Stettel.
Oh, Schmittel. Haben im
Geschätzt. Gut, geschätzt.
Geschätzt in Lich Geheit. Oh,
good. Shane.
Geheit.
Good, Shane. This is a product of the printing. This word here is lieb. Lieb. I see how it looks like lich, but we actually have a way of knowing that it's definitely lieb and not lich. Why? Does anyone know?
It does his niche to longer cough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yo. But the question is, it looks a little bit like a chof in this scenario, but we know it can't be a chof because it's not a langer chof, right? It's at the end of the word, and we know it has to be a base instead. Good.
So that's lieb gehat. So they
Lieb gehat.
loved him, the people in the town.
Exactly. Okay. So now we've read it out loud. Gitel, I would love to hear your best try at translating, even the words you don't know, and then we'll talk about them.
Okay, Berele Tata is given a Yid in El. Well, that word, I think it's like in earnest. He was a Jew, really in earnest, like an earnest Jew, a frummer. So he was a religious man. He was from.
Exactly.
Alle Jiden in Steto haben, so all the people, all the Jews in the city, haben had him gestatten, respected. I don't know.
So,
Gestatten means they knew of him or they thought of him.
So it comes from this verb schatzen, which becomes geschätzt in the participle in the past tense. Schatzen heißt to rate or to favor, or they thought good of him.
Geschatten, they thought well of him.
Sie haben ihm geschätzt. Geschätzt, that means they thought well of him. So this word schatzen, it can be used in a lot of contexts. So one context might be if you say you're a jeweler and you're given a diamond and you have to rate the quality of the diamond. That's schatzen. You're rating it. Yeah. But it can also be used on its own in reference to people, in the sense that you're rating them, i.e., you think they're a good person. Yeah.
Ich kenne the Familie Schattenstein. And das ist der Parnassa. Sie schatten Stein.
It depends. It depends if it was Schatzenstein or Schattenstein. Because if it's Schattenstein in German, this would be literally shadow stone. But if it's Schattenstein, it would be to rate stone.
Schatten. Sie seien Jiden, nicht Deutsche Goyim.
Yes, but Ashkenazi surnames come from Ashkenazi history in Germany. They're from a German.
Ja, ich verstehe.
Ja.
Over das Familie, ich frag, sie seinen I don't know how you say a jeweler, a stain.
Juwelieren?
Juwelier, meine ich. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt, but the light just went off on the whole family name and its meaning.
No, I'm glad. Good. Okay.
So, and at the in the last three words, geschätzt und lieb gehabt. So, and they loved him.
They liked him. Exactly.
They liked
Loved him. Yeah. So
lieb means liked or love or
lieb
they
haben.
Lieb gehabt, yeah.
So lieb
But in the
haben.
past tense, because gehabt.
So the entire structure of the verb is lieb haben, and this verb means to both like and to love, and it can function either. And in here, you could be forgiven for either. You know, you could say love, like it's probably love because it's implied to be very strong. Not only did they like him, but they haben ihm geschätzt. They rated him well. They thought he was a good man. Sie haben ihm geschätzt und lieb gehabt. Okay. Any questions so far about these two sentences? Shane. Okay. Jetzt will ich heißen as Mark soll lernen bis da.
Where were we?
And start here.
Alle in Städtel haben gewusst.
Gewusst.
Als is größer Orman, aber keiner hat mit Garnisch nicht gekonnt helfen.
Shane. Good. Mark, would you like to wager a translation of what you just read?
Let's see. So everyone in the town, something, I don't know that verb.
Good. Gewusst means knew. They knew.
Okay. Oh,
so
okay.
It comes from this verb wissen, to know, which is where we get ich weiß, and in the participle it becomes gewusst.
Okay. I think is it ever spelled differently? Like
you might have seen it.
Maybe gewusst.
You might have seen it, especially if you're from the Hungarian Yiddish fashion. You might have, Yivo writes it like this, gewusst, which you might pronounce as gewist if you're Hungarian Jew or a Chassid. But here it's being written a little differently with an aleph in the middle. That aleph is what's called a mechitza aleph, which just means a separation aleph. It separates two vowels. But at any rate,
Right. So you wouldn't have three vowels in a row.
Excuse me, I have a question. Gewusst, you wrote with 3 vav. I think it's only 2 vavs, no?
But so that either way we.
I never saw 3 vavs together.
So hold on 1 second. So either way, we actually need 3 vowels because in either way of spelling, because 2 vowels together signal a V sound. And 1 vowel signals a U sound. So if we're gonna write,
put a dot next to the third vowel.
Exactly. So if we're gonna write gewusst with a V, we not only need the 2 Voven here, we also need the U here. And so because of this, because it's a little it's a little uncomfortable, unbequem, to write 3 Vovs in a row, we have developed 2 systems of writing it. either like this, where we have V here and
And a
U here
mechitza aleph.
with the mechitza aleph, exactly. Or
put it up.
exactly in the Yivo standard, where they put a little dot here.
Mit the dagish.
Exactly. Auf Yiddish sagt man dogish. Yeah, dogish.
Dogish.
So these are our two options. It's a little weird, especially if you're a
It's
Hebrew
a
speaker.
Jewish umlach.
Yeah,
Yeah, in Hebrew you don't have it. That's why
no, definitely not. So it's definitely going to be weird as a Hebrew speaker, but in Yiddish, totally fine. Totally fine. Yeah. Good. Okay. Mark, I would love to hear the rest of your translation.
Okay, so let's see. Everyone in the town knew that he gotta unwind things here. He's a big something. Oraman.
Oraman haste. He's a pauper. He's a poor man. Oraman. It's actually a combination, exactly, Yochanan. It's a combination of two words, orem and man, that in Yiddish has become one man. Is an oraman. Is an orem. He's a pauper. Good.
Okay. Let's see. Poor man. But let's see. No one. Often. I mean, it's like maybe like nobody would help him or something.
Exactly. So this word gekonnt here, this word gekonnt, which we see here at the end, gekonnt, is a variation of a word we already know, which is kennen. And often this is something. Lily, did you remember if your family said konnen or kennen? Do you remember?
Kennen.
Probably kennen, because then given Litvak is, and Litvak is so kennen.
They can't help him.
So for example, in Yiddish, kennen is the most common, but often you will find, particularly in places that have had a little bit of a German influence, usually Central Polish Yiddish or like Litzianer Yiddish, sometimes you'll find konnen, which is the same word, same exact word, it's just with a different vowel. And here, so it means nicht gekannt helfen. They weren't able to help. And then we have this important part of it here. Let me just go back down. Mit gar nicht gekannt helfen, with nothing. They weren't able to help with anything. So alle in Stettel haben gewusst, als ist ein großer Oremann. Aber keiner hat ihm mit gar nicht gekannt helfen. Essentially, exactly. So your translation was perfect, Mark. Everyone in the town knew him, and knew that he was a grocer. He was a big pauper. He was a very poor man, but nobody was able to do anything for him. Nobody was able to help him. You know, they had their own worries, right? He's poor, I'm poor. What are we gonna do? Good. Yeah. Okay. Any questions about this?
No, that's good.
Shane, we have time for one more sentence, probably, unless we get through it quickly. So I'm thinking, Jean, if you would like to read from until here, till we get to the dialogue.
Oh, okay, that's good. Had bis Keynes.
By Canaan?
By Canaan, yeah.
By Canaan, okay. Had by Canaan. Amtes.
Good. Umsiehst.
Amtes. Gornit. Amtes Gornit.
Gewählt.
Nehmen.
Good. Gewollt nehmen.
Gewollt nehmen.
Nehmen, Shane. Good.
Was had verdient mit seine Zahn Finger.
Good. Mit seine 10 Finger. Good. With his 10
Finger.
Mm-hmm.
Das hat Verlebt.
Good.
Verlebt.
Good.
Verlebt.
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 Yeah. So give special attention to these vowel signs here.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have a pasach and a comments. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, verlebt. In flagged. Ständig. Zogen.
Ja, sagen. Good.
Zogen zu der
Mamen.
Mamen.
Good.
Zogen
Okay.
zu der Mamen.
Shane. Good. Okay. So let's start here. Hat bei keinem umsiehst gar nicht gewollt nehmen. Now, Jean, do you have maybe a translation of the sentence? I can also walk through all these words with you as well. So
Okay, sounds good. He had dein keinen.
So was heißt, do you know what keiner heißt? Keiner.
No.
We had it here. Aber keiner hat ihm gar nicht gekonnt helfen. So keiner heißt no one. No one.
No one.
So here he's saying, hat bei keinem, so umsiehst, the context will help as well. Umsiehst, was heißt umsiehst?
Nothing.
Free. Umsiehst heißt free, something that's without cost. Yeah? Umsiehst. Gar nicht gewollt nehmen. So, we might rearrange this as hat gewollt gar nicht nehmen bei keinem umsiehst. Yeah? Which means he didn't want to take anything from anyone for free. So hat, so we might rearrange it this way. Hat gewollt nehmen, or hat gar nicht gewollt nehmen. He didn't want to take anything, right? Hat gar nicht gewollt nehmen bei keinem umsiehst. I.e., from anyone by keinem umsiehst, which means free. So he didn't want handouts. He didn't want charity. Yeah, they couldn't help him, and he wasn't interested anyway because he wasn't interested in charity. Yeah, hat bei keinem umsiehst gar nicht gewollt nehmen. The syntax here is a little different.
Can I put you on a mute for a second?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. So let's also continue with the rest of the sentence. Let's try this. Lily, would you like to translate the rest of the sentence?
Yes. Was hat verdient, whatever he made mit seinen 10 fingers, with his 10 fingers, das hat verlebt. That's what he had for living.
Exactly.
Verlebt. Und fleckt ständig, and he always, sagen zu der Mama, used to tell to the mother, to his wife.
Good.
Mein Kayere.
Oh, good. So we'll stop here for now, just because we're running out of time in our hour. But what I will say is that was perfect. So was hat verdient mit seine 10 Finger, what he earned with his 10 fingers. Yeah. Any questions about that phrase? Was hat verdient mit seine 10 Finger. Das hat verlebt. So this verlebt looks like verleben, but in actuality it comes from another verb, which is verleben, verlebnepis, which means to spend up, to use up. Yeah. Das hat verlebt. He used it up. Yeah. So to review, was hat verdient mit seine 10 Finger, that which he earned with his 10 fingers, he would spend up. Yeah. He would use it up. Das hat verlebt. Und fleckt ständig sagen zu der Mamen. And Lily was exactly correct. He used to say always to Berele's mother, i.e. his wife. Yeah. So we have this verb here, flecken. This is an odd verb. Does anyone know how to translate flecken?
Used to.
Great, good. Used to. He used to. It's something, it's a continuous action in the past. Exactly. It was a habit in the past. And ständig here. Was heißt ständig?
Always.
Always. Good. And does anyone know a synonym for ständig?
Allemol.
There's actually a lot of them. Allemol is one. Good. Allemol, ständig. Any other synonyms? Lily, you might know this one because it comes from Hebrew.
לעולם.
Tomid.
תמיד.
Tomid from Tamid. Yeah, exactly. Tomid Zokman. Tomid. I can write it here. Tomid. Tomid, haste always. As well as Alamo, as well as ständig. You have a lot of options in Yiddish. Good. Und ihr pflegt ständig sagen zu der Mamen. And then, just to close up today, and thank you all for your patience with this. We have zu der Mamen, which is what? What's happening there?
Dative.
It's our dative, exactly. So we have die Mame regularly here, but why is it becoming dative?
She's the recipient.
And how do we know that? What's in the text that's showing us that she's the recipient?
Zu der.
Zu, good. Zu. And Zu is unsere Präposition. Good. Zu is unsere Präposition. Und das ist wie ihr soll me weist, as das ist dativ. Shame. Good. So this is our text. How are people feeling about this? Do you feel like you understand? Is this
They are good.
good?
Wir haben a guter, not learning, but professor.
Ja, gut, schön, schönen Dank, das ist schön. Also ich muss sagen, ich hoffe, das ist geringer von dem anderen Text, was ihr hat gelernt mit Halen. Yeah, as this is, you all had mentioned that you had read a really difficult text. I hope this is easier than that. And it's also a little good. It's going to take time to get used to it, but the great thing about this text, and we'll do the song next time, and we'll also work on some more grammar things. The great thing about this text, and really text and literature in general, is that while we're practicing how to speak and be more comfortable with the language, we're also getting a chance to see the grammar in action, which I feel makes it a lot more concrete in our heads. Right. So at any rate, I hope this is enjoyable. Es
ist eine Mechaya.
Ja, es ist euch mir
Mechaya.
Es ist euch mir Mechaya zu reden mit euch.
Es ist euch mir Mechaya.
Bei
dir ist es euch Mechaya.
Ja, bei mir ist es euch Mechaya.
Ja,
und
gut.
Seid mir gesund und stark und hat einen guten Abend und wir wollen sich sehen Donnerstag die kommende Woche. Ja? Schön. Ja. Gut. Okay. Schönen Dank, alle.
Eins Frage. Was is the English word for verlebt?
You might say spend up, use up.
Use it.
Also to squander your money.
And verlebt is nicht verliebt.
No, different word. Yeah, different word. Yeah,
An andere Wort.
Sorry, I'm back.
Good, an andere Wort. Good. Generell, ich hope we had just closed the story. All I had said is just to thank you all. Schönen Dank, euch alle.
Yeah.
And basically, all that we talked about was how the sentence ended with this important phrase, zu der Mamen. Zu der Mamen. Yeah. An example of our dative. Yeah. So now you know going forward.
I know because we talked about zu der Mamen.
Exactly. So now for you all going forward.
Of a class, so it's good.
Exactly. So for you all going forward, as you have feminine nouns, remember, in the dative, they're going to, anything you put on them, D comes to der, also adjectives, right? So if I said to the beautiful woman, I would say zu der schöner Frau. Zu der schöner Frau. Zu der schöner Frau. So this change from E to er happens everywhere in the feminine, in the dative, right?
Okay.
Good. So we have die schöne Frau zu der schöner Frau.
Der schöne Frau bekannt zu der schöner Frau. Okay.
Otazoi. Good.
Otazoi schreibt, there is a song, Otazoi.
Oh, I love that song. Oh, wait. Otazoi, Nathan Schneider, Otazoi, Nathan Doch, Otazoi. Yo, good. I love that song. Okay.
By the way, this song, the letter for mother, a Berele to mother or to mommy. It's a letter, the one I know, that mother writes to her son,
Good.
not the other way around. Okay.
Schönen Dank euch alle.
Get it to.
Gut, einen guten Abend. Seid mir gesund. Und wir werden
Seid gesund.
Gesund.
Schönen Dank für die Lektion.
Of course. Nicht auf was. Okay. Seid mir gesund, euch alle.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Shane.